Hiya Spidey-Fans, it's your friendly neighbourhood Ultimate Spider-Man fan here. And judging from the screenshots, I think you can guess what this is. This is going to be another video of me reading the epic Marvel Spider-Man PS4 related book, the Hostile Takeover. So, we're just going to continue from where we left off last time, which is chapter 3 we're on now. So, yep, so here we go. I'll just say, you Spy fans know what to do. For those of you Spy fans who don't, like, subscribe, comment, ask me any questions, share this video with your Spidey friends, and hit the bell. And I can't type it up on the screen. Well, I can't type it up on the screen here. So, follow me on Twitter as well. Type in the @ all capitals without spaces, the Ultimate Spidey, SPID. And yeah, let's get ready. So, the Scorpion had never much impressed Spider-Man with the quality of his henchmen. In fact, he rarely even used henchmen. Clearly he needed to rethink his employment agency, or however these guys operate. Have a little chat with the people down in HR, but these four had been underwhelming even by Scorpion standards. They'd been expendable. That, it seemed, had been the point. Whoever he faced next would be the real threat. It wasn't Scorpion, that was for sure. This guy was about Spider-Man's own height, slim and wary like him, dressed all in black, nothing fancy, sweatpants and a loose sweatshirt. Over his head he wore a black balaclava, so nothing off his face was visible, or her, he supposed. There was no reason to assume this bad guy wasn't a bad woman, just a bad person. Though the city evidence he had of that was the tingling sensation that told him he was in for a serious fight. He led with a few web shooter bursts, thinking maybe he could end the conflict before it began. The webs hit nothing but wall. The person in black was gone, tumbling through the air for a second. Spider-Man thought that the moves looked familiar. Like he'd known who this was. If he could just remember where he'd seen a fighting style like that before, then it came to him. He'd seen those fighting moves on news coverage. This guy moved like Spider-Man, like him. Nice style, he said, springing up to a far wall, then another. The three spring fake out. It never failed to fill the garden Ferrari thug. An enemy couldn't dodge something if he didn't know where it was coming from. This guy dodged it, time to shut him down. Bracing himself onto a wall, Spider-Man lobbed out a barrage of his web shooters where the guy was, where he was likely to be the next fraction of a second, where he might leap unexpectedly. Blanket coverage like that used up a lot of web fluid, though and it had been a busy night. He was a fussy driver who liked to fill the tank long before it was empty, and he was already running low. Of course, the typical fussy driver didn't have to worry about being shot, stabbed, crushed, trampled, electrocuted, stung, or bluntly gunned. I don't know what that word is. Bloody gunned. If he cut things a little closer, none of the webs had home because his assailant leapt and bounced and lunged in a style that was all too familiar. A second barrage missed too, and Spider-Man started to wonder why he was bothering with this guy, other than trespassing, a crime Spider-Man had also committed. When he thought about it, the guy hadn't actually broken any laws. Even if he was able to catch this person, more likely than not he'd walk. On the other hand, Andy sent him to this place where there just happened to be a bunch of decoy henchmen and a guy with some awfully familiar abilities. This isn't passing the smell test, Spider-Man said, and I'm not talking about your body odor. Though that doesn't pass the smell test either. He leapt in, letting his instincts take over. He was ready to dodge swift rolling lunge, whatever it took to get this guy in at a disadvantage. The fun had gone on long enough. It was time for his opponent to be webbed up and explain just what was going on here. Spider-Man landed behind the Man in Black. At least that was the plan. But his opponent was already gone. No wonder the guys I fight get so angry. He thought, that's so annoying. Then he was struck from behind. It was like getting slammed by a speeding truck. His foe hit hard and fast, sending Spider-Man skidding across the paved surface. Then the guy was on top of him. He moved like Spider-Man, but fought like a brawler. Brawler. There were hands everywhere, slamming into his face, his chest, grappling without letting up. Hands off the merchandise, he grunted. Yeah. He slammed his forehead forward, hopefully into his attacker's general nose area. At least that was the plan. The guy jerked back, avoiding the blow. The move allowed Spider-Man to break free and leap into the scaffolding. Oh yeah, the word I couldn't understand in the game for the first few weeks. He turned and aimed with his wrist, but there was no one to hit. He tensed, ready for a surprise attack from any angle. But then he realised his spider sense was no longer thrumming. It had gone to sleep. He moved around the perimeter of the roof fast and erratically, changing his trajectory and speed to an ambush more difficult, but it became impatient that this was nothing more than an exercise in caution. The Man in Black was gone, so no Scorpion is what you're telling me, he said to himself. This whole thing had been a setup, but a weird setup. The man in Black had moved like Spider-Man, yet fought like a biker and held his own. The throbbing of Spider-Man's cheek suggested he'd done more than hold his own. He had in fact had a real shot at beating the crap out of the original. So why had he taken off while he was winning the fight? There was a lot he didn't know, but the bits and pieces suggested a new and dangerous enemy with a completely unknown plan. In other words, trouble. He needed intel, and at the moment the guy who set him up and made him look like a chump looked like a pretty good source. So I was back to the cruise terminal, and he would be long gone. But even though he pulled the wool over Spider-Man's eyes, he still wasn't God's gift to intelligence. With any luck, he'd left some kind of clue behind, like his wallet or the keys to his apartment. If he couldn't find anything there, he'd check the snake store afterwards. As he swung around his destination, however, he felt his stomach drop. It didn't take spider powers to tell. Flashing blue and red lights, a police commissioner. So a police perimeter, the squawk of radio chatter. Something had gone horribly wrong. Andy was dead. Spider-Man perched in the shadows on an upper desk of one of the ships and looked down at the scene below. The body was surrounded by a dozen police officers. They hadn't been even bothered to call EMTs. There was no reason to do so. There was a large pool of blood on the deck beneath him and a big stain on the front of his shirt. An hour ago the kid had been alive. A woman was circling the scene, systematically taking photos with her phone. A guy in plain clothes, probably from the coroner's office, was studying the body and taking notes on a tablet. A handful of uniformed officers combed the scene with flashlights, searching for clues. A mustached man, most likely a plainclothes detective, stood impassively sipping coffee from a Greek-themed paper cup and staring in the distance. His tie flapped in the breeze. There had to be someone behind this, some sort of mastermind. The kid had just been a pawn. Okay. Even more alarming, whoever was working with the fake Spire person had been confident that the real Spider-Man would respond to the break-in at a snake store. That meant that someone had been tracking his movements, following where he'd gone that night, or what kinds of phone calls were likely to grab his attention, or both. That suggested an alarming investment of time and energy. Peter didn't like to let emotions cloud his thinking, but the fact was that Andy was lying dead down there. He'd been a person, and probably not a terrible person. He'd had the right to live and make mistakes and hopefully learn from them, and someone had taken that away. they done it in order to mess with Spider-Man. That made it personal. It also meant that Spider-Man had information the police needed. The trick was figuring out the best way to pass it along. The guy with the coffee and the flapping tie was probably in charge, so Spider-Man would need to get to him alone. Need to get him alone. Unfortunately, the detective showed no signs of movement. Hold it right there. The voice startled him, raising his arms in the air. He turned slowly to face a woman holding a very nasty looking weapon of the sort flavoured by the New York police officers. Despite the pistol she held, his spider sense hadn't tingled, so she didn't prevent an immediate threat. You know the routine, she said. Hands where I can see them. Oh, come on, Spider-Man said. Is this really necessary? He said he could think of plenty of answers, but wanted to hear what she had to say. It's necessary, the woman replied, because you're suspect number one in a murder. Okay, Spidey fans, that's actually chapter 4 now, so I'm going to end up there. So, I will admit, like, I've read this book twice and I've really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping you are actually enjoying me reading it to you. But, like I said, here my first ever video on this book, well, on my reading book, I'm only reading, these videos are only for those of you who don't have this book and want to know the story that happened before the Spider-Man PS4 game story. And if all of you have it and you've really read it, good. But if you haven't, then I'm going to read it to you. But yeah, other than that, that's going to be it. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to make a wee announcement here. Maybe I don't know if you've watched the endings, but I'm going to say it anyway. I might make it now and then I'll make an announcement in a separate video about these reading videos, because there's 36 to 37 chapters of this. So basically, after these screenshots end, I don't know if maybe in the next one, because I don't have that much screenshots left. Well, you can't tell on your screens, but I can tell on my screens. I'm near the end of the screenshots. Well, okay, I've got more, but not that much. I'm going to start making some. But here's what I'm going to do. I might start a new game again on my 6th slot. As you might have seen, as you would know if you've got the game, it's got 6 slots. Don't need to say that, but I'm just going to. On the 6th slot, I might delete it again, because I'm near the end of the 6th slot again. So what I'm going to do is I'll possibly restart the game. I'm going to take screenshots of like every fight, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a wee comic strips out of the levels, and the comic cover will be the opening of it. I'll explain it in a different video because I'm near ending here. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see all you Spy fans in all of my next epic Spidey videos. It's your friendly neighbourhood, the ultimate Spidey fan, over and out, and I hope you enjoyed this reading video. See ya.